I'm going to run through a quick service and check of the glow plug and the glow plug screen. Many things may have brought you to this article. One of them may be because you didn't watch the video about gas heaters and comparison with diesel heaters. But anyway, this is our diesel heater sitting underneath the couch. Air intake at this end, so it sucks the cold air in through here, or the ambient air through here. The heat exchanger and the furnace is in this bit here, and then it blows the hot air into this duct, and that duct comes back around through here, out underneath the couch this side, and out that way underneath the past the fridge to the back of the van. So just to check the glow plug and the glow plug screen, you don't need to remove the heater. My heater's not actually fixed in because I've been in the process of pulling it all apart and cleaning it from the inside out. But this is just a quick video on checking the glow plug screen and the glow plug, which is the first port of call when the thing starts blowing smoke. So this air intake at this end just screws off. It's just to stop large things from going in there and hitting the impeller. There's two little tabs underneath that lift off that cover. So these two little tabs here, just pull them backwards and they'll pop off. Now we're inside the heater. There's not much to these units. This is the control module here, which tells the heater what to do. This is the combustion area in here, and the heat exchanger in this here with the fins. This is the glow plug here, and the glow plug screen is like a sleeve that fits around the glow plug. So the first thing we have to do is we have to take this control panel out, and or get it out of the way. You'll need a torque screw. Where's the lens? Over here. Funny little shaped thing. You could pick them up from Bunnings. They're pretty handy. A lot of things use them anyway. So we take this control unit out. There's two little plastic pins here that you squeeze on the end and lift out that control panel. And just push it out of the way. These coloured plugs in here are colour coded. They cannot go in any other way than the way that they come out. You can't put them in backwards in the wrong hole. They just don't fit. So we only need the one out, which is the glow plug, but we need this thing out of the way. So what we're going to do is move this boot off the top of the glow plug, but just be a bit careful. Don't just rip it off and pull it along those wires. Feed the wires through it as you're pulling it off to make sure you don't put too much tension on the top of those glow plugs, because they're only soldered on. Those wires are only soldered onto that top of that glow plug. It wouldn't take a lot to rip them off. You're either then going to have to replace the whole glow plug or solder the thing back on. When you buy the heater, you'll get a spanner which has a slot in it to take those wires. I'm adamant that I didn't get one when I bought my heater, but doesn't matter. Slides over the top of the wires onto the nut. Just crack it. Doesn't take much pressure. It's a very important point in the relation to diesel heaters. There's no combustion. They're not an engine. It's a heater. So what it basically does is it feeds fuel into this glow plug area here, and it ignites in a tube inside this area here underneath this heat exchanger. So it basically becomes a diesel blowtorch, and that's all it is. And there's a hole underneath where the exhaust pipe is, underneath the van, and so the torch burns fairly ferociously inside that chamber, heats up these fins. This impeller on the end here draws the cold air through, pushes it through inside that black tube over the top of these heat exchanger fins, heats the air up and blows it in around the van. So we just want to check that glow plug out. So that glow plug is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that at all, and it's good to go. The screen is inside that little hole. I'll show you another video of that later on when I actually pull the thing apart and clean it. You'll notice that my attachment bolts here aren't actually screwed up because I'm still in the middle of cleaning it. So that I've got a bent up framing nail. I work in the building industry, so I've got a truckload of these things. So bend it up on the end, cut it off, hook it underneath that sintered metal thing, screen and lift it out, and that's it. That's your glow plug screen. So what that will do, that sits inside the glow plug. The glow plug will heat up, and it will heat up that screen, I'm assuming red hot. When the fuel goes into the side of it, comes in through the side, hits that screen, and it will ignite, and then the fuel pumping into the burner chamber will just create this torch. So that's been cleaned, and I'll post up a pic of what it looked like when I pulled it out, and you'll get a bit of an idea on what the carbon looks like when it's carboned up. So what we do is just put him back in that hole. I just get the same nail, push it down into the hole till it's seated, and put that glow plug back in, screw him up. As I said before, there's no compression in this thing, so you don't have to do it up like a spark plug. It just needs to be nicked so vibration and stuff won't cause it to loosen up. So just give it a quick nick, and that's done. Slide the boot back over, put him back on, plug this glow plug back into the control module, push the wires back down to where they're supposed to be, get these ones out of the way. What I tend to do with things for the first time, if I'm doing something that I've never done before, it's just take photos as I'm going along, and then I've got a visual reference as to what it's supposed to look like when it's back together. So then we put the screw back into the top of that, screw him back down, get the plastic cover, slide the plastic cover back on. So this is where the heat contains inside. The heat contains around that unit as it's being drawn through by the fan, and just heats because the combustion has made the insides of that heat exchanger red hot. And that goes back onto there, screws back on, and that's it, we're done. The thing's been serviced, been checked. While you've got the glow plug screen out, give it a bit of a clean if it's got any carbon on it, and if you've done it once every year, 18 months ish, it shouldn't have a huge amount of carbon on there. I just give it a bit of a hit with a wire brush and clean it off. If it's looking through the inside of it, if there's carbon reach the inside of it as well as the outside of it, just throw it and go and buy another one. They're not a lot of money. Slide it back in, and off you go, and the heater won't blow smoke now, and it will run efficiently, and it'll be good to go.